Madam Speaker, fellow members of Parliament, and most importantly, all the people who are here in the People's House and all the people who are watching today to witness the beginning of our 15th Assembly. It's one which I hope will be marked by wisdom, inclusion, compassion and justice. I rise today with deep respect for the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the Larrakia people. I want to acknowledge their enduring strength, resilience, wisdom, generosity and grace. This land was taken all those years ago, and it's the land on which the capital of the Northern Territory and this Parliament sit today. It is the Larrakia people who since that time have contributed their labour, their knowledge and their culture to this place that many of us now call home. Larrakia people were always here and they will always be here. I would also like to acknowledge the strength and resilience of all Aboriginal peoples across this country. I pay my respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and people present, including my fellow MLAs who represent their First Nations communities, my Murray-Yingia, Duran, Selena, Chansey and Manuel, and thank them for sharing their country. As we meet here today, we cannot ignore the painful truths of our nation's history, an unjust history that saw First Nations people dispossessed of their lands, their languages, their rights and often their lives. It's a history marked by violence, oppression and broken promises. And it is not just history, it is also our present. The legacies of that past persist today in our institutions and communities. We must never shy away from this truth, nor from the responsibility we bear to seek justice, reconciliation and reparation. This week marks the anniversary of the Voice referendum, a moment that reminded us all of the deep need to listen to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Wherever you stood on the question posed by the referendum, we must recognise the pain that the process and its outcome caused for many people. My commitment to truth, treaty and voice remain firm. Too often, First Nations voices have been ignored and this must change. Here in this chamber, we have a responsibility to ensure that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander voices are not only heard, but are central to shaping the laws and policies that affect their communities, their people and their lands. And my commitment today and every day is to work for that vision, a vision where we all walk together, where all voices are heard and valued, and where every decision we make is rooted in wisdom, fairness, respect, and a shared future. Let this Parliament be a place where we learn from the past, heal the present, and build a more just tomorrow. I come from a family of migrants. My parents' families arrived in Australia with very little, yet they built homes, raised children and grandchildren, and worked with their hands, minds and hearts to create better lives. Their sacrifices, wisdom and resilience shaped me, as did the lessons from my parents, my grandparents and my aunties. They raised me to connect with others, to think critically, to speak up and to always show up. Today, I'm thinking of my dad, who left school at 13 to work on the family farm in Queensland and then worked in factories. He educated himself, learned on the job to be a journalist, a political advisor and then later a filmmaker telling important stories. He spent much of the last 20 years of his life living with us in our house in Milner, involved in local issues, mentoring Territory filmmakers, on the board of the Miriam Rose Foundation, learning newer ways of making peace, gaining a degree in Indigenous knowledges from CDU and campaigning for asylum seekers and others less fortunate. He always spoke truth to power and he was my constant sounding board for ideas until his passing in June 2023. Were he still here, he would look at all of this with pride and wonder and discuss political strategy with me over his morning marmalade and then go out and he'd be sitting on a stool outside Parliament House with a purple sign. My mother's Jewish family left Europe and Palestine and settled in Australia. Many of my relatives have experienced discrimination and some died in the Holocaust that killed 11 million people, 6 million of them Jews. In my family, this history teaches us to work for peace and justice, and my Jewish heritage is part of my deep commitment to this work for peace and justice, and has taught me that until we are all free, none of us are free. And in these times of terrible war and conflict that we heard about from my fellow member, I mourn every life lost and every person harmed. My amazing mother, at age 86, continues to learn and grow. She published her first 2 books in her 80s. She speaks her truth always and was with me every single day the past 6 months, along with her partner, Kit. She was my #1 supporter throughout the campaign on market stalls, polling booths, streets, deliveries of coffee and chocolate honeycomb, campaigning like an 18-year-old. My aunties, both artists and scientists in their unique ways, gave their lives to health, education and family and created homes of welcome and inclusion for everyone. I miss them greatly. Their songs, stories, sayings and actions inspire me to this day. I'm also so fortunate to have an incredible sister in every way, Annie, an amazing brother, Josh, beautiful children, Jack and Zeph, and my partner, Johnny. They've all stood by me, helped me and inspired me with what they all do in the world. I stand here too with the guidance of First Nation elders, mentors and friends, especially my Yolngu family and friends who've taught me love, strength and perseverance. From my friends, neighbours, colleagues and comrades, I have learned the power of working together for change. My experiences as a rebellious teenager, a student activist, a youth worker, a mediator, a refugee advocate and an ally for First Nations rights have shaped my understanding of how to build communities and drive meaningful change. I've learned from everyone I have connected with. I am and we are nothing without those who came before us, those who work with us and those who will come after us. I'm not from this place, but I've lived here in Darwin for almost 30 years. I've raised my family here, been very privileged to learn and work here in Darwin and all over the Northern Territory, and I'm deeply grateful for everything this place and its people have given me. I love the Northern Territory and I'm committed to working to repairing the deep problems we are facing and the harm that we are doing to people and to country. Throughout my life, when I have seen something broken or systems causing harm, I have stepped forward. My law degree has helped me to do my work across the Territory as a mediator and justice expert, and in this role, I've worked with families, communities, the police, government and businesses to manage conflict in ways that are peaceful, constructive and restore balance. For more than 25 years, I've spent my days bringing people together to solve complex problems and create solutions that provide lasting positive outcomes for everyone. And this has shown me that change is possible, even in situations that seem impossible. And while I've always been deeply politically engaged, I never thought I would become a politician, even though it had been suggested to me over the years. Last year, however, 2 powerful calls to action came, one from my Murri Yingia and one from my community. Both asked me to stand with them to help create change. I did not take this decision lightly, but ultimately my love and care for this place and community that I have been part of for over half my life, along with my commitment to our future generations, told me what felt right. And I cautiously and intentionally decided to enter this space. I'm not someone who enjoys being the centre of attention, but I'm here because people wanted someone to stand up and I was willing to do that. And those who know me know I like a challenge, and I truly believe that we can do things better. I want to live in a place where the people that we elect make decisions that are in all of our interests and that are informed by the best evidence we have, and where we do this constructively by working together, not against each other. I'm ready to bring my experience to a different kind of politics, one which has people at its heart. As an independent member in this chamber, I promise to listen to my community and I commit to work to bring integrity into Parliament so we can create that future together where we all thrive. I'm so proud of the campaign that we ran, one of hope, of inclusion and of positive values, of respect and care and openness. In this election, we saw the community's huge desire for change, for connection, for being listened to and heard. I saw so many examples of what our future can hold: neighbours connecting, people supporting each other, and people coming together. I've been lucky enough to live, work and raise my family in Milner, in Johnston, for more than 25 years. My children grew up here. One was even born in our house, a true local. They attended local schools, celebrated birthdays in the water gardens, played sport every weekend at the local park, and I've spent many years with my kids and now my dog enjoying beautiful Gurumbai, Rapid Creek. We are so lucky to have a living river flowing through our electorate. Moyle, Jingley, Milner and Allawa are places where, like in much of the Northern Territory, we have incredible diversity. People from more than 30 different countries speaking more than 45 different first languages. I reckon we have the best food in Darwin, and we've got the most unique local market selling all the fresh local produce you can imagine. And during the campaign, it was such a joy to meet so many of the people who I'd lived alongside for so long. People like Patricia, who's lived in Johnston for 53 years and still walks to the corner shop every day, and Ali, who moved here last year with his family. Though he's not a citizen yet, he's deeply involved in his community. And I'm here for everyone in my electorate, no matter how they got here or who they are. And I can't express my gratitude and admiration enough to the incredible more than 150 volunteers of all ages who were involved in our campaign. Thank you to 10-year-old Margot, who said, "I want to help you be the best person you can be so you can help us have a future." And thank you to 93-year-old Morella, who came and sat on our stall because she believes that there really is a better way to do things. And the biggest thank yous to all the many, many, many people in between. We started our campaign with nothing but people's hopes and dreams. No money, no staff, no profile, and through the power of community, we won. And I'm so proud that a campaign like ours can bring a member to Parliament against all odds, and I commit to keeping that community spirit alive and to bringing it into this chamber. I don't have all the answers, but I have a vision for how to move forward. I know when we use the right processes and we do things properly, we create better outcomes. I believe together we can strengthen the communities of the Northern Territory to be ones where everyone is safe, where everyone has a home, where people feel connected, where people feel safe enough to take down their fences instead of hiding behind them, where governments and services listen to the communities they serve, and where us, our elected representatives, make decisions based on evidence and expertise, and we care for people and country, keeping our land and waters healthy and thriving. My vision is not about parties, it's not about private interests, it's about putting people and our future first. And some people say I'm an optimist, but I see myself as a hopeful pragmatist. My work and life here have shown me that when people listen to each other and act together, we can create a future that works for everyone. I'm committed to bringing the community's vision into this building. This house, Parliament House, belongs to the people. Its members, all of us, are here to represent the people. Our politics must reflect that. People and communities must be at the centre of what we do. I'm inspired by my Maria Yingaguila, the member for Mulka, who's worked for his electorate and the betterment of the Northern Territory, transcending the party system, walking together with others, and by other strong independents, also transcending party politics, both here in the Northern Territory and throughout Australia. We already have so many examples of how to do this. Like many of you, I've heard the frustration with politicians and with politics, but I've also heard hope and ideas for change. People want to strengthen, fix and reshape the Northern Territory into a place that's healthy and safe and for all of us. Justice has always been my passion, and I've dedicated my professional life to mediation, peace building and conflict transformation. I've seen how these tools can heal harm, restore balance and promote equality. And much of the time, those in power don't understand these approaches or give them the resources they need. For many years, I've been trying to convince decision makers to do things differently. So now I'm here to bring my ideas into this body, the highest body in the Northern Territory, to work with all of you to make sure that we make the right decisions, decisions that will keep us all safe and help us all live the lives we deserve. As an independent, I don't have the power of numbers, but I do have the freedom and the power to collaborate. I will listen to everyone. I will bring the diverse voices of our community with me, and I will work constructively with others. This is how democracy strengthens and flourishes. During the election, we heard frustration and confusion about many issues that we will now talk about in this chamber. Community members and my colleagues here have all said that they want us to find lasting and wise solutions to locking up children, to unsafe communities, to poverty and homelessness, to family and domestic violence. And we just heard from my fellow member here that tragically 3 women have been killed in the last 2 weeks in the Northern Territory. We cannot let this continue. But fast decisions do not equal good decisions. We know we need long-term solutions to create lasting change, and we need those solutions to be made properly. I believe that politics can change. We can live in a democracy where every voice is heard and decisions are made with everyone's input. This is not a fantasy. Examples of this exist in Australia and all over the world. And as I said, my work has shown me that there's never a problem that's impossible to solve when we bring people together and learn from each other. We can and must have politicians who are courageous and make brave decisions, who listen to their communities and then lead with wisdom, who are not just trying to win the next election cycle, who are doing what is best for the long term, for our children and theirs. This morning's opening of Parliament was graced with the happy sounds of many children, reminding us all of our responsibilities. And it feels fitting to me that tomorrow brings a Jewish festival, Harvest Festival of Sukkot, a festival where we build a house roofed with palm leaves, a house where everyone is welcome, where all who are hungry can come and eat, and where everyone has a place. And that is the kind of house I believe we can create here. I believe that no matter what party or independent, we're all here as members of Parliament because we believe in a better future for our whole community. And I believe we'll get there by working together to make the right decisions with the right information, in the right ways, and for the right reasons. I look forward to working with everybody in this chamber and everybody in the community over the next 4 years to build this strong, vibrant, safe and inclusive future we all believe in. We have a chance to do things better and to do things differently, to make bold, effective laws that actually work for generations to come. Laws that address the things we all care about, making us all safer and caring for all of our children and all of our futures. That's the Parliament I want to be part of. That's the Parliament I've heard that other people in this room want to be part of, and it's the one we all need. Thank you.